welcome to another Dawn and Julia Create. So I have set the challenge this time. What's this all about? Well, I have set the challenge that we are to make an art journal page, but it must be on a book page. So we have a very open-ended brief. We can use whatever we want, do whatever we want, but we must use a book page. So without further ado, shall we just get started? So in the end, I decided to use the journal that Dawn and I created entirely out of packaging. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Yes, the book has suddenly changed. In my head, I was going to be creating an Alice in Wonderland page using the Alice in Wonderland book, and I was going to do it in my Studio Light journal. However, the sizings just didn't really work. Then I had the idea that I could use this journal. I thought Dawn wouldn't mind if I add a page because I'm not quite sure how. But with the same brief, Dawn ended up with more pages than I did. So I thought, yeah, I'll just add another page. It'll all be fine. I'm sure she'll be okay with it. So I got this book, Oliver. Basically, I did this massive haul a couple of years ago. There was a local charity shop that was selling as many books as you could fit in your bag for a £5. I went down with these Tesco bag for life and got loads. And this was one of them. So because it's obviously not paper designated for journaling, I've stuck two together to increase the strength of it. So that's what you saw me do there. Now, as you can see, I've got white texture paste. Love a bit of texture paste. And to go with the whole book, word, letter theme, I've pulled out one of my stencils. This is called Tumbled Text. And I'm just going to add some extra letters to the page using this gorgeous texture paste. Oh, I love this stuff so much. It is so dreamy to work with and it dries fairly quick. Now, I did leave this overnight to dry. The magic of editing means it's just a few seconds. And I am getting out one of my sets of Kuretake Gansey Tambi because we all know I'm having a little bit of a love affair with them just now. And also I am working on using a few more mediums than I have in the past. So we are sticking with watercolours and I don't really have a plan at this point. I'm just getting some colour on. And I am obviously going for greens and blues. I was in the green and blue mood. I quite often do that because I think I have this thing that I normally think I'm going to end up building scenes, and so I sort of automatically go for those colours. So I then get a bit of water and squish it around, move the page quite a bit so that we can have it moving all over the page. I just let the water do its thing. It'll find all sorts of nooks and crannies to fall into and settle into, and I love this because it's very organic. You have absolutely no control over what you're going to get. And I love that. I love the fact that you just have to let go a little bit and work with what you end up with. I end up sort of adding a bit of extra paint along the edges just to define it, and I always like my page to have more shadow around the edges. It helps to draw the eye into the centrepiece. I think I decided that green was just a little bit too in your face, so I muted it down with that grey. That grey is utterly gorgeous. Highly recommend that paint set just for that grey. It is lush. And as you can see, I am literally just rinsing and repeating. We are adding more water, we are doing more swishing, and that's it. We left it to dry and that's what we have ended up with. So I ended up getting out this book. You may have seen this in the haul that I did that was influenced by other YouTubers, and Marta Lepowski had this book and used it in some of her makes. And I saw this page here and thought it would be perfect. Just the fact she sat reading a book. I love the autumnal tones. I say the only issue I have with this book is that there's designs on both sides of the pages, so you have to sacrifice some of it. It's also made me really want to design my own ephemera book. But you know, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments below. So I stick her down. I will bring the page down. There we go. Now we can all see what's occurring. So I bring the page down and look how fortuitous that little bit of grey colour went just by the sort of flower wand. That's worked out really well. That was a happy accident. I also pulled out some of the other little elements from various pages. You know, I don't like hard edges, so that sort of covered one hard edge, left me with another, but those loose little flowers then could be sort of pasted on and sort of give it a continuous flow. I'm just using my gel medium here. The reason being is that we are working on multiple textures. I want to come in with more mediums again, and obviously the paper of the girl is not going to really work So she's not going to accept any mediums. So we're getting our clear gesso and just putting it all over that and all over the page. And this will allow us to come in with watercolours and stuff again to be able to finish off the page. So I just kind of get that down and once again leave it to dry for the night. But by the miracle of editing, here we are again with a different watercolour palette. So this is my Prima, I think it's called Decadent Pies. It's one that I don't pull out that often, but it does have the most lush, gorgeous autumn tones in it, which I think worked absolutely perfectly with this particular picture. So I'm starting to build this up, starting off with the smaller, not smaller, that's not the word, you can tell my brain's not in gear, the lighter, starting off with the lighter colours and then gradually building it up with darker colours. I'm also really being guided by the actual picture itself. So areas where the picture is nice and dark, like you can just see by her outfit there, and then elements of her hair look quite black, I've gone in with that really dark bluey grey, and other parts of the image that are a little bit lighter, I've kind of stuck to those sepia tones. To make the page cohesive, I also add some sepia tones to the edges because we didn't start off with any. I didn't know this was the direction I was going to go in. So we just sort of gradually build up the layers, work with what we have, get to the stage where you're happy with that particular layer and move on. I think art journaling is one of those things that if you sit and get stressed about the fact you're covering up what you've just done, it might all seem a waste, but it's one of those things that's about the process. Are you having fun while you're doing it? Then no, you've not wasted anything, you've not wasted time, you've not wasted product, you're having fun and you're feeding your soul creatively, so it's all good. I am now bringing the shadowing in, again that sort of trick to draw your eye into the centre of the page. We add dark around the edge in order to be able to do that. Of course, this is the collab with the gorgeous Dawn, and she will have created something with a book page as well. So I cannot wait to see what she has created. So I hope you will join me in popping over there and seeing what journal she's used, what book she's used, and what finish article she comes up with. As you can see here, I am getting some of my Pebeo gilding wax. I will link to this below because it is the most awesome product in the world. I have had mine for probably 15 to 20 years. I've run multiple craft workshops and had loads of people dig in there, and there's still loads left, and that's because it's a furniture grade gilding wax, so it takes much more abuse, which when you're doing mixed media, that we like that. we like products that can, you know, take a little bit of abuse and working, because, you know, we're quite cruel. We like to add all sorts of layers and all sorts of things to it. And the other thing I love is that you can buff it up as well. So this is me just sort of buffing it up. I then decided to use a little bit of souffle as a finishing touch, and I'm using a Dolly Dimple stencil. I am using one of the ones that's got the most gorgeous gold and rusty tones, so I'm just popping that through the stencil so that we have a little bit of a pattern. And this is a product, unfortunately it's not on the market anymore, absolutely gutted. Pretty Gets Gritty has now got a similar product, Shimmer Shots, but it's not quite as thick and opaque. But I'm sort of gradually pulling that up the page, and then I'm just going to put a tiny bit on the other side just to sort of balance the whole thing out. And then once again I will be leaving this overnight to dry. You can force dry it, but it goes a bit milky, whereas if you leave it overnight you just get a gorgeous clear shine with all the inclusions giving the colour. I am choosing a few words from my Tim Holtz pack. I am just loosely rubbing, well no, I'm giving it quite a buff there to be honest, let's not lie about it. With colour from just my brush. I've not added any extra colour, and that's just to take the whiteness off so it matches the page. And that is it all done. This is such a different style for me, it really is. It's not a direction I normally go in at all. We've still got the scene building and the storytelling, I think, but not my usual style, and I love how it turned out. In fact, so much so I think I want to make an entire journal from the Oliver book and just do loads of journal pages on this paper because I think it's awesome. I absolutely hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions regarding it, please feel free to mention it in the comments below. And of course, please do pop across to the marvellous Dawn to see what inspiration she has for you. If you enjoy art journaling, you may enjoy checking out this playlist with lots of inspiration right here. Take care, and we'll see you again soon.